Alrighty. I saw a big visual novel sale on Humble Bundle, and I thought, you know what? Why the fuck not? $12 for like 12 or 10 games or something. It's like, why not? Might be interesting story stuff to do, so here we go. Music's pretty decent. I can't change the size of the screen at all. Can't change the resolution. Can't full screen it. Which is unfortunate. Oh. There we go. I figured it out. Now I gotta change my thing here. There we go. Ta-da. Better. So I've never done an actual full real visual novel, so this will be a new experience. Wow, an achievement for doing pushing start. That background noise, damn. That's very interesting. Thought this was gonna be fully voice acted, but this might not have been one of the ones that was. Oh, I don't want to have to start reading though. But I guess I will. That'd be the good thing to do. So I'm gonna have to get a drink first because it's gonna get me very dry. Alrighty. The door before her had a large padlock hanging from it. Just as she had heard, it was unlocked and merely dangling there. Heard from who? And is she sneaking into somewhere she's not supposed to be? The girl drew a breath. Being locked would usually mean that it was a place she shouldn't enter. Imagine that. Being open just meant that a staff member had forgotten to lock it, so going in was out of the question. Unless, you know, it's an invitation from the powers that be. Her curiosity piqued. She was past the point of persuasion. Her imagination ran wild, and her mind raced at the prospect of what might lie beyond the door. Most people have the opposite thoughts of that. It's like, I'm scared of the shit that's behind that door. Just for a little bit. This is very weird. Looks like she obviously planned to sneak into this place. But why? She opened the door and saw lots of glass tanks. Several types of fish hailing from the deep seas. From football fish and oarfish to pelican eels and barrel eyes were swimming about. That's some, yeah. Why isn't this an exhibit? And I'm not going to do a girl's voice. So, no. Not right now, anyway. She thought it over, wondering why this would be in a closed-off area. Behind her, the door shut on its own. The girl spaced out, staring at the deep-sea fish swimming about. They would leap from the tank and swim in midair. Or, you know, you could be on smack. Because it's fucked up. The entirety of the room was the fish and their ocean. Though it was an unnatural occurrence, the girl treated it as quite normal. Probably because you are high as fuck. Wasn't there originally a deep sea fish booth that was shut down? Why would you be talking to yourself or trying to talk to the fish? I mean, it would be better if instead of having her just say these things out loud, having it just be narrated that she was thinking these things. It just seems like it'd be more realistic to me. Unless she talks to herself a lot, which I do, sure, but I don't think most people do that. She suddenly remembered, at that moment, her surroundings were dyed a deep red. How... Okay, that's just a weird sentence. You suddenly remember that your surroundings are red? Like, did you literally not look around the room when you entered it and just, like, tunnel vision to the fish and walk towards them? The water in the tanks, the fluorescent lights, all of it was red. The girl's vision also became red. Okay, that's weird. But suddenly remembering that everything's red, that's just a weird sentence that doesn't really make much sense. You could maybe suddenly realize when she opened her eyes, the girl was back in her own room. It was well into the night. She couldn't remember how she had gotten home after all that. It's another not quite fantastic sentence. But, more importantly, she had a bad feeling about something else. It isn't red here. She became aware of how hard it suddenly was to breathe. No matter how hard she gasped, she was unable to get oxygen into her body. Lungs instead of body would be a better... I'm gonna end up nitpicking the terrible translation of this. I bet this doesn't seem to be very professional work. Like the fish who couldn't breathe anywhere but in the water. She couldn't breathe unless she was inside that red color. Okay. She was convinced. On impulse, she threw open the window, leaned out, and thrust a hand outside. She couldn't inhale, the wind flooding her room. She could only smell its milky, unpleasant scent. Like, I'm just wondering what the fuck. More. At that moment, the girl's body was tossed into the air. For just a second, her body seemed to float like a fish in the sea. Or the fish that were in the sea that started floating through the air, right? Because that was a thing. The fuck is going on? Her room was on the 12th floor of her apartment building. In her fading consciousness, the girl watched her blood flow endlessly from her body. Like, what? 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 It's red. Usually, yes, blood is red. Only then could she breathe. Now everything would be... No, nothing's going to be motherfucking fine. You are on drugs. You are fucking tripping on something hard. None of that shit is fine. The girl smiled. The full moon in the night sky smiled too. This better lead somewhere quickly, because if it's just gonna be like, ooh, weird, mysterious shit, I'm gonna be like, I don't really give a shit if you're just trying to be fucking weird. Drippy drippy. The sound of falling drops. Bad translation. Sort of. Just sort of a weird sentence. I mean, I guess you don't want to say what kind of fluid is, but still really weird. The moon was concealed behind the clouds, and all the lights in the town were covered in water. The sound of it, the only thing left to resonate. She couldn't tell whether it was hot or cold, merely that the humid air was encircling her. Drippy, drippy. Wherever they were falling to, wherever they were coming from, the drops just continued to trickle out. That single drop, I stopped it with both hands. The sound of that solitary red drop. Oh, maybe some normal shit now. Or not. That's sort of weird. Okay. Or at least there's an urban legend that goes like that. Really? That whole thing was just her trying to spook out her friends with a fucked up story. Okay. Talking about Mantum Aquarium again? That's your new thing, isn't it? While stuffing her lunch into her mouth, Tamagawa Himeko spoke, her eyes sparkling. I had no idea which point in the story got her so excited. It's a little weird to have first person on that part right there. So that means this is a retelling of the story. That's right. Isn't it the scariest part? That the girl jumped to her death smiling after coming back from Mantum Aquarium? It's pretty bad. Yet you don't seem the least bit scared, Himeko. Himeno. Japanese names. That's not true. I got chills running down my spine. Someone who's got the chills running down her spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully. Is that a boob bump? That was kind of weird. Someone who's got chills running down their spine wouldn't be eating a pastry so cheerfully, and hey, that's my meatball. During a break in the conversation, Hamino stole a side dish from my boxed lunch. Okay, so that must be the main character who's retelling the story. This minced meat from growing calves and little piglets. It's the best. Yeah, so she's slightly creepy. That's some weird shit to say. Why do you have to put it like that? Jeez. Why'd you have to make me lose my appetite? I'll give you the rest of it. Alright, I'll take it. Another boob bump. Nico takes the rest of the meatballs from my lunch with amazing rhythm. The reason why I, Nakanobe Mayumi, lost my appetite wasn't because Hamino's story scared me. Mantum Aquarium and I are connected in a way that I'd rather not think about. Of course, Hamino has no idea about that connection. If she knew, she'd never mention Mantum Aquarium around me again. Right. Because she seems oh so interested in not being fucking freaky. At the same time, I've been afraid that the thing that might cause Hamino to stop talking to me. Hamino was pretty much my only friend. That's bad when your only friend is kind of fucked up. It isn't that I haven't talked to anyone since entering junior high, just that the only person I can actually call a friend is Hamino. Seriously, I think this whole Mantum Aquarium rumor obsession is getting a bit too much. Maybe. There's so many rumors though, like that there's a man's ghost in the tanks, that the deep sea fish booth is only open on full moon, that the water changes into blood, or that we can hear crying from behind the tanks. That earlier one goes with this one also. No, that's fine. You don't need to hear anymore. Say anymore. I say firmly, causing Hamino to make a sour face. Soon after, Hamino changes the subject. First to a TV drama that aired the night before, then to some cute fake nails with cats on them she found in a magazine. She then talks about a classmate who was dating a boy from a nearby private school, alighting on one subject before quickly changing to the next. Normally, the subject of Mantum Aquarium shouldn't have popped up again. Anyway, getting back to what we were talking about earlier. What exactly were we getting back to? Mantum Aquarium. I looked into it, and this Sunday will be a full moon. That was all I could say. The rest of my words were unable to come out. So we should go and see if the rumors are true or not. Oh, haunted story, gotta go check out the thing, yay. But I know you aren't interested in stuff like urban legends, Mayu. But next week we'll start preparing for the end of the semester and I won't be able to hang out with you. Lately we haven't gone anywhere together, have we? If the full moon was next Sunday, I'm sure Hamino wouldn't have said anything. But I suspect because it happens to be this Sunday and next week happens to be our exam, she's chosen Mantum Aquarium. I know that I'm not hiding my confusion or my hesitation very well. Even so, Hamino turns her carefree grin my way. Since it's an aquarium, even if the rumors aren't true, we can still have fun, right? Well, that's true. Usually anywhere I go with Hamino, I have fun. Whether or not we'd have fun was not what I was worried about. By the way, Ayu, in the East Building Mantum Aquarium, they have a Haagen-Dazs. As in the Eden restaurant? They had closed up at one point, but it looks like they're reopening for a limited time. Sounds kind of weird. Really? Really? They have cookies and cream flavor you like too. The cookies. Alright. Of course I hesitate, but in the end, that settles it. Then we'll go. As long as we definitely get some cookies and cream, saying you have no money because you did too much shopping is out of the question. I know. After all, I'm something of a glutton myself. Fine, fine. In the end, we settle on Mantum Aquarium and ice cream for Sunday, since I have already received my reward money for moving on to the next grade. I don't need to worry about my allowance. Wow. Get rewarded for doing well in school. I never got that. Still, it's been 5 years. Did you say something, Mayo? Nope, nothing. Bite my tongue, covering the words that had carelessly spilled out. I'm looking forward to the aquarium. It's probably been about 10 years. I'm looking forward to the cookies and cream. It's probably been about 10 years. Is it redoing some things, or am I not watching this properly? It's like that's 2 or 3 times I've redone the same line, it seems like. Or maybe it adds on a little bit, but it flashes the whole thing again, making it look like it's a new line. It's kind of weird. That's not true. It's the truth. That's the only thing I'll eat. That's the only thing I'll eat there. Amino goes, "You little," as she playfully stretches my cheeks. The end of lunch chime sounds. Amino goes back to her own seat. If it's with Amino, I'll be fine. That's what I told myself at the time. Sunday is 3 days after that. The day I promised to go with Amino to Mantum Aquarium has arrived. We are to meet at noon at the Mantum Cho station. As is customary for me, I arrive 30 minutes early. Ugh, early. What a waste of time. Leaning against a pillar, I do nothing but space out. Tons of people pass before me. Manton is really crowded on days off. Even so, there aren't really that many families or groups of students. Everyone around me appearing to be adults. Because of that, I quickly begin to feel uneasy. Within this crowd, I am alone. Inexplicably, my head begins to hurt. I wonder if Hamina will be here soon. I mutter to myself, then look at my shoes. Deep blue sandal boots that were this year's newest product. When Mom and I had stopped off at the department store on Saturday, she bought them for me after some coaxing on my part. They were far from what you'd call high quality, but they were still a bit pricey on a junior high schooler's allowance. Student would be a better word to fit there. That just flows awkwardly. I'm not usually the type to beg, but I couldn't take my eyes off from these boots. My mom bought them for me with almost no resistance, saying, "You're going out of town, so you need to look your best." I liked both their form and their color, and found them a better fit for the summer season than anything else. Really, boots? Boots are better, sandal boots? They look like they're open in the back for the heel. That does not seem very effective. It's like the toes and my Achilles are the worst parts for my feet, and I always end up damaging them. I take my cell phone out and check the time. There's still 15 minutes to go until we're to meet. Since Amina was always 3 minutes later than the time we established, I've got about another 20 minutes. I finished reading my paperback on the train, so I have nothing to kill time with. There's nothing I can do about it, so I decided to keep myself from boredom by watching the people passing by. If I don't keep myself distracted, horrible thoughts will revive in my mind. I always worry about what will happen if I'm late, though. It had actually been about a month and a half since Himino and I had gone out. We always talked at school, but rarely spent time together afterwards. Anyone who saw us probably thought we were opposites. Outings like this aside, I often spend my days off at home. When I was in elementary school, our family would go out often, but lately, that's been limited to dining out on Saturdays. So when I'm asked about what I do when I stay at home, I usually just say I do nothing. Doing homework and watching TV is stuff that seems pretty common to me. On the other end of the spectrum is Himino, who goes out regularly. I often hear stories of when she went to karaoke on weeknights, or about how she traveled out of town on Sundays. She's a member of an active sports club and often wants to hang out with them afterwards. Going out of town on already limited days we have off tends to make me think, even though it's a day to rest, I don't feel rested at all. Yeah, that's how I generally think. It's like, I hate being busy on my days off because they're my fucking days off to not do shit. But that doesn't really get you anywhere. In other words, something like this is the difference between Himino and I. Without much common ground between us, why we became friends is... Suddenly the light fades from my vision. It wasn't just that it had become dark, but that I had the sensation of being unable to breathe. But rather than sweating it, I get a little mad. So without saying what happened, they describe it in a way to make you realize, oh, that's the thing that just happened. That was nice. Sorry. Hearing my wordless protests, Himino pulls her hands away. I get playing the who am I game while covering someone's eyes, but covering up someone's mouth too was just like Himino. When I puff out my cheeks and object, Himino just smiles at me. It's because you were staring into space, Mayu. Instead of apologizing, Himino blew up the nape of my neck. Without thinking, I made a weird sound. Embarrassed, I looked around 2 or 3 times, but pedestrians walking by seemed unperturbed and didn't even look our way. You're freaking me out. Cut it out. The culprit who surprised me moves in front of me before I realize it. You're mean, Himino. But I got to hear something good. No, you didn't. Moreover, as I say that, I check the time on my smartphone. It's 3 minutes to noon, our agreed upon meeting time. It's not time yet. How rare. That's rude. Jeez. I'll make you make a weird noise again. Saying that, Himino opens and closes her fingers in small, swift grasping motions. Grabby hands. It's called grabby hands. At times like this, I know I had better change the subject or get messed with by Himino again. Oh, by the way, did you buy a new one? You mean my necktie? Yes, I did. I thought I should get one to match my shorts. You and I haven't hung out since around midterms, Mayu. If I buy something today, I'll really be out of money. What about the aquarium? You're still set on finding out about the urban legends, then? Of course! That's my #1 goal. But as usual, I can't count the things I want to do on just one hand. Okay, I get it. As long as I eat cookies and cream, that is absolute. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, Mayu, aren't your sandals new? Himino says as she looked at my feet, talking about 3 times as fast as she does in class. Yeah, nice, aren't they? They're super cute! How cool, I want a pair too. Nope, then we'll be too similar, and these are the only pair of sandals I have for the summer. Talking like this, it put me at ease. Unlike myself, who is childish, Himino knows a lot about fashion and trends. Even here in Manton, it seems like she blends in. Most importantly, by being with Himino and constantly chatting, I no longer feel lonely. Or weird, or out of place, or any number of sort of bad feelings I'm sure she has. Oh yeah, Himino, why did you bring such a huge bag? I'm glad you asked. With a hee-hee, Himino opens the Boston bag. Huh. That's... not quite sure I understand what that's referring to. The Boston bag she had let sink down from her shoulder. A variety of things came out, such as a flashlight, insect repellent, a simple blanket, a first aid kit, matches, and snacks like chocolate and cookies. What is all this? Himino, where do you plan on going? Ignoring the twitch developing on my face, Himino thumps her chest. Geez, to the aquarium, but since we're investigating urban legends, we should at least have some supplies. Rather than an investigation, the equipment she has reminds me of more of going camping in the mountains. Snacks and blanket aside, where in a city this size would we need insect repellent or a flashlight? I keep those feelings to myself and just smile. I let out a breath that is half exasperation, half amused. I don't get sick of being with Himino. Whether Himino is aware of my exasperated gaze or not, she starts to take something out, then quickly shoves it back in. She gives me a smile, implying some secret. Oh, wait, no! It's too soon for you to see that. What are you about to pull out? I'm not telling. Upon saying that, Himino quickly closes the bag. The way I see it, it is a wonder she fits all of the supplies she had out just a moment ago. Wonder where it's all being stored. It's a bag of holding! Woo-hoo. Excuse me. By the way, no club today? I ask with the underlying question of whether or not today is a day off for the club. At my question, Himino averts her eyes. Nope, probably no club today. Really? Giving a brief answer, I start walking. Upon hearing her reply, I immediately understand it as, oh, she skipped it again. But not wanting to ruin the merry mood, I merely quicken my pace. I'm not in any clubs, but even I know it's not good to skip. Speaking honestly, I want her to show up for her club, as she seems to be respected even by students from other schools. Coming here together like this makes me equally guilty, though. Once I get thinking, I don't usually stop, so the conversation shifts to a ramen shop that catches my eye. Oh, Mayu, do you want to get lunch? Huh? You caught that? Feeling as if she had seen right through me, we head into a nearby coffee shop. It is, apparently, famous following its coverage in a magazine for a sandwich that was overflowing with vegetables. I say apparently because on excitingly finding the restaurant, Himino shared this. Compared to a hamburger shop, this place is a bit intimidating and trendy to me, but since I'm with Himino, it doesn't bother me. Shoving the roast chicken sandwich with extra olives that I ordered into my mouth, the unease I have been feeling disappears. In contrast to my fervor, Himino eats her avocado and shrimp sandwich in small bites. Ew, avocado and shrimp? What the fuck is that? Oh, dude. It's fucked up. Well then, about our plans for today. Himino starts as soon as we've finished eating. We'll start with the aquarium. No matter what, that's the main thing. So we'll look into the old man's ghost and the closed-off deep-sea fish booth rumors. After that, We'll go to the shops and finally have some ice cream. I think it's better to get the cookies and cream first. If you eat 2 times, you'll mess up with your stomach and get fat. You won't want to wear a bathing suit. If you eat 2 times. That's just... it's a very complicated way to state something. Aw, Himino, that's no fair for you to put it that way. It isn't fair. Himino is in the exercise club. She will be fine. But for someone like me who doesn't exercise enough, it makes me stop and think. Having said I wanted to go to the pool, it is all the more important. Okay then, we'll stick to my plan. That was a delicious meal. Urged on by Himino, I decided to leave the ice cream shop for another time. Talking about silly things together, we leave the station behind. As opposed to the station's excellent cooling system, the city streets have a peculiar humidity and heat to them that envelopes our bodies. The beginning of July, summer has only just begun, and I can already tell it's going to be a tough one. Yeah, I know what that's like. Starting to get hot now. We weave our way through the crowds until we are 10 minutes away from the station, finally ending up in front of a skyscraper. The building is a symbol for the people of Manton, a combined facility for commerce, what you might call a fashion building in reference to the businesses it contains. Manton is a town known as a place for people to go for amusement. If you really want to have a good time, they have a movie theater, arcades, and several shops, though you need to have money. A better statement would probably be you need to have a fair amount of money. Because of course you have to have money to go anywhere and have fun, pretty much. But places like that are designed to take lots of your money. Because of that, young men and women are more numerous than boys and girls. In this town of people older than us, Himino scans the panels for each floor without fear, saying, the aquarium is... People are concentrated around the panels. Of little help to Himino in trying to take up as little space as possible, I leave the search to her and gaze up at the building. I look up and up, but the top of the building is so far I think my neck will snap. That's a very awkward statement. Like, damn. That picture isn't even of a hugely tall building either. I mean, if it had like 100 stories, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I can sort of understand that statement, but... Huh. That just gave me a friggin' achievement. Okay. That's magnificent. This building was built not long after I was born. It had been finished before I could walk, but the first and only time I came here was in elementary school. The instant I think back to my first visit, my head begins to hurt. Huh. Seems to be a bit of a problem with her. No, I have to try not to think about it. Those are things from long ago, things from the past, things that are done. I can do nothing but deal with the pain that feels as if something's pressing against the inside of my skull. I finally hear Himino calling me in a loud voice. The elevator is this way, come on. I push away my headache and step through the automatic door. The information at the entrance and the placement of the crane game are exactly the same as that day, giving me a slightly bad feeling. Wow. That was interesting. It's weird. It seems like it's going to be sort of a horror kind of thing, but it's all going to happen at this one place that people don't generally go to. So that's kind of strange. From the elevator landing, we need to head to the top floor of the Separate Manton East building. The elevator is the type that has a glass window so you can see out. That is the only thing distracting me from my gloom. A crowd of people get on with us, but almost all of them are gone by the time we reach the floor that contains the aquarium. They probably stopped off at the apparel and or sundries shops. It isn't that we aren't interested, but Himino recommends it's crowded now, so let's come back when it's less busy. And that keeps us back, deciding to stick with the plans we made back at the coffee shop. Stepping onto our floor, the atmosphere immediately switches to a lively one. The sounds of chatter are drowned out by the roar of a large fan. The lighting is dim and tinted slightly blue. The windows are also covered, giving the feeling that it has suddenly become night. As this is an aquarium, it makes sense that the concept is based around the ocean. Yes, the pungent smell of salt is a major change. It's weird that it's like there's an aquarium inside a giant building. Because the only aquariums I have seen are their own, not even just buildings, but like zoos. You know, they're their own, what the hell's the word I'm thinking of? Like amusement parks and stuff. It's like, you know, they're their own plot of land with multiple buildings and setups and stuff. So this is kind of strange, and I think that takes away a lot from the creepiness factor, because if it was its own plot of land and nothing else connected to it, then, you know, it's more self-contained, so there's could be that atmosphere of, you know, you can't get away from this because you're inside it now, and it's all designed in this way instead of, you know, you're in a giant mall, so there's just there's people not that far away. But I guess it's sort of still the same, kind of. Once you go in, you're in there. Just makes me wonder, being inside another superstructure, how big can it really be? Whereas if it's its own plot of land, it can be huge. Amazing. It's like we dived into the deep sea. That's what I thought too. Instead of being targeted at families, lately it seems more like a date spot for adults. Or at least that's what the magazine said. But it's true. Even though this is my second time coming here, it feels like the first time. Next to the entrance is the souvenir shop. Though it lacks the usual boisterous voices, it appears to be a place that can be reached both from the inside and outside, but it doesn't seem to get many customers. Just as Himino had said, the aquarium seems to target adults. In an atmosphere like that, even Himino looks nervous. Hey, Mayu! What's up? I forgot to tell you one important thing. Himino makes a mysterious face and brings her mouth up to my ear. What, did you drop your wallet or something? No, that's not it. This is something that I heard that's a bit of an urban legend. but they say the amount of people going missing is on the rise. There's a rumor that this month alone, the number missing is well into the double digits. Huh? We have this conversation in front of the metal rack that holds the map of the aquarium. Aside from the map, there's a guide to Man East Building and information about affiliated hotels. Okay, that right there takes away a lot from the mysterious factor, because if it's in a giant building, there's going to be cameras all over the place. So if X amount of people go into the aquarium on camera and never come out, it's kind of like, you know that they went in there and they didn't come out. Whereas if it's its own plot of land, there's probably not going to be a lot of cameras pointing at that to show who's going in and out, and their own cameras will, can easily be doctored. So, yeah. During that time, we hear the sound of an elevator opening and closing, but do not see people going into the aquarium. Manton used to be a shopping district, right? That seems to be why, even if there are a lot of runaways, the media wouldn't pay much attention. But supposedly many of the missing persons had stopped off at Manton Aquarium. That rumor, who did you hear it from? Who indeed? No one in particular. You know how rumors spread. At Amito's words, I feel a cold shiver along my spine. Regardless of how credible the rumor is, a sense of dread shoots through me. Considering my past, it's natural that I would feel connected to missing persons in my age range, especially if they are runaways. If that is the case, it would send chills along the back of my neck. That's sort of weird. Wouldn't not being the case, just knowing that information regardless should be what sends chills, not the knowing or not knowing. Why on earth? You could have told me before this. Well, I thought if you heard about it, you might not have wanted to come. Oh, so you forgetting to tell me was a lie then, you little... I had intended to protest firmly, but it still ended rather anticlimactically. Ghosts may exist, and they still may be unable to come back, but... Huh. That's very awkward. The whole point of a ghost is that they do come back. If they weren't unable to come back, they would just be dead people. But that doesn't mean I'm interested in visiting places where they are. Unless you're saying that ghosts should somehow be able to come back as living people, which is, from as far as I know, never been a thing, ever, to actually ever comment on it. It's very awkward. This is proof that Himino has her own strange interests, yet it still makes me feel even more worried. This rumor has a continuation. Specifically, people who saw the deep-sea fish booth never came home. Himino relays these two pieces of information that frighten me with a smile. The rumor itself aside, she wanted to pass over the question of why people were able to see the closed-off deep-sea fish booth in the first place, not wanting to discuss it at all. Wait a minute, Himino. Something else is tied in beneath that fear. Something about the aquarium and the missing persons who didn't come home. That was, essentially... Are you okay, Mayu? Sorry, I guess I scared you a bit too much. I think this story's pretty exaggerated, so don't worry about it. I heard it from I heard it's a fun aquarium. I think we should take these stories with a grain of salt, right? Though her kindness is misdirected, its kindness just the same. Having involuntarily sat down, I take the hand Hamino extends to me. As I slowly rise to my feet, I respond, "Yeah, you're right." To think that I would hear of a connection to my precious memory in a place like this. It's strange. After 5 years, the memory should have faded. I tell myself this, then let out a small sigh. Hamino is actually showing concern, so I sit down on a bench in the rest area next to the souvenir shop. Hamino even brings me a can of cocoa. As I'm drinking it, she buys our tickets. With her doing all this, I have to go with her. "Are you okay, miss?" The fact that I'm thinking thoughts like, "This canned cocoa is a little weak," is proof that I'm cooling down. As I'm starting to feel better, a male voice calls out to me. That's an interesting shot right there. You'd expect that sort of shot if it was a female character because it's animu, right? But it's actually just an artistic shot. They don't want to show his face yet because he's still the mysterious guy. So they just show most of the rest of his body because she's probably also looking down somewhat at the can of cocoa she's drinking. So that's a really cool shot right there. I like that a lot. Hold on. Let me get another drink. While holding my half-finished can cocoa, I turn in the direction the voice came from. Rather than the boy's voice I expect, it belongs to an adult, so I respond timidly. I'm okay, so... No need to be so vigilant. He's wearing a gray knit cap and a brown running shirt. He's tall, even for a guy, so I have to look up at him. His build is almost all muscle, and my shoulders shudder a bit in surprise. He appears well over the age of 20, so I can't think of a reason he would want to talk to us. I can. Some background music finally, and it's slightly weird. Like maybe he's supposed to be a goofball. Wow, those rings. Whether he realizes I'm looking up to him or not, he plunks down right next to me. Even after he sits down, we aren't sitting at the same height. Pretending to fix my posture, I move away from him a little. Are you not feeling well? I'm fine, really. Thanks to my nerves and my wariness, I end up speaking unnaturally fast. Moreover, if he really is a kind person, I might end up abusing his good intentions. How cold. Ah, it figures. I say again without thinking, without my knowing that he's so happy. What he's so happy about. The man's mouth loosens into a grin. You're pretty clever. I give up. But you know, I seriously am worried about you. Your face is pale and all. That's... His kind words taking me by surprise, I inadvertently avert my eyes. For some reason, I become strangely embarrassed and begin tapping my index finger on my can of cocoa. Well, that aside, since you came to have fun, let me show you around. That's still slightly creepy, guy. We are really just fine. Yeah. The words come out so naturally that they surprise me, even me. I have now become a complete idiot, and my eyes meet his. I work part-time in this building, so I'm familiar with it. This area, that is. Hey, what are you doing? Himino! I gasp and look up. Himino is there carrying 2 tickets and some pamphlets. With her hands on her hips and her cheeks puffed out, Himino glares at the man with narrowed eyes. I think the only ones allowed to hit on junior high schoolers would be high schoolers. Still, think that's weird. No, I'm not trying to hit on anyone. This girl just looked unwell is all. Mayu, what happened? Was it hitting on someone? I turn to the man and tilt my head. Since Himino has come, I've relaxed a bit and can look him in the eyes. You're asking me that? So that was what you were doing. Himino says that in an exasperated voice in my place. She says, "You're the worst," grabs my arm, pulling me to her side. The man rests his elbow on his knees and shrugs. He punctuates the shrug with a sigh. Mayu, let's go. And hey, mister. Himino mutters, facing the man's chest. On hearing her say mister and giving me a puzzled look, the man shows us the plastic name tag hanging around his neck. I must have forgotten to take this off. Himino, speaking of which, he did say he works part-time in this building. Ah, then is that his entry card or something? He slaps his knees and rises to his feet. He probably played some kind of sport or something, because his movements as he stands look so effortless. It's a slightly weird thing for a girl to notice. I'm Hiyoshi Kenji. I work part-time at the shop downstairs. With this entry card, I can get into the Mantum Aquarium at a discount. Is it a company employee discount? Something like that. I'm not exactly a company employee, but I get in at half off anyway, so I come here often. Really? That's quite unexpected for you, mister. When you become older, you'll crave these soothing experiences as well. I might understand where he's going with this, but that's still a little bit of a creepy sentence. And I'm not old enough to be a mister. Now he says it. Compared to us, you're definitely old enough to be a mister. Yoshi-san grimaces angrily, then sniffs in a self-deprecating manner. He appears to be a little older than a college student, so calling him old enough to be a mister is probably rude, but Himino only said the impression he gave was pretty close. With the aquarium as a shared point of interest, Himino's attitude towards Hiyoshi-san softens. As proof, Himino talks with Hiyoshi-san about the shops in the building. I don't really know if it's a lot about brands, so I sip my remaining cocoa and listen from the outside. My iced cocoa has become lukewarm cocoa. Well, mister, are you also well-versed in urban legends? On hearing Himino's question, my head pops up in surprise. The corners of Hiyoshi-san's mouth lift into a grin. That's rather unexpected for you as well. So you're interested in such things? Of course I am. You're only young once, so you have to satisfy your curiosity. We're looking into the closed-down deep-sea fish booth. There's rumor that it's open on the day of the full moon. Do you know anything about it? Hiyoshi-san places his hands on his chin and looks down, grunting loudly. He glances at me, looks over at the entrance, then finally turns to Himino and opens his mouth. I think you need to give up on that one thing. Naturally, since I'm a regular here, I often hear rumors like, there are spirits floating in the tanks, or every time a person dies, the jellyfish tank increases by 1, and so on. Himino-chan, the story you mentioned shouldn't be anything more than one of those rumors. But...
Stop dancing around it and just tell me.
Previously, I knew someone who went looking into this just as you girls are doing now, Himino-chan. He went missing soon after. Missing? Without thinking about it, I joined their conversation. If someone has gone missing here at the Antum Aquarium, it holds significance for me as well.
Is that for real?
I glanced back in surprise. Himino is still looking at him with doubt in her eyes. Hiyoshi-san listens to what Himino said, and with a playful smile responds, "Just kidding, it's a lie." I wonder if it is a lie. Because of the words he muttered, my curiosity has been piqued. I couldn't imagine the tense face he made as he told the story of an acquaintance who went missing being faked.
That's right, but if that's the case, then this really might interest you, mate.
I thought from the beginning that it would be better to just give up.
No way! I already brought the tickets anyway.
Mino's face shows that she's enjoying herself to the end, and she takes my arm to gently pull me closer to her. This was the signal that she was ready to go, and in my mind, I prayed that nothing would happen. Well then, wanna walk around with me? Hiyoshi-san calls out to Himino, who has said later, but it's me rather than Himino who hears him and spins around first. So I make eye contact with Hiyoshi-san and say, "Huh. It's 2 no's and a yes. Doesn't seem to be much middle ground here." I think we'll pass. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I have the day off anyway. Besides, I think you'd be better off having someone as knowledgeable about this place as I am. Mister, that's not a good look. Maya said she's got no interest in you. Himino's late response seems to pierce right through Hiyoshi-san. Himino, it's not that I'm not interested. It's not that I am, either. Mayu, don't say any more than you already have. A bitter grin spreading across his face, Hiyoshi-san waves to us. Without looking back, we head for the gate to Mantum Aquarium. The aquarium entrance is so dark that we can't see in front of us until we are inside. I can feel the cold air on my skin. I get a sensation of something heavy, causing me to rub my arm. Naturally, there is no mark indicating something has touched me, and, called back by Himino's "Hey, let's go," I pass my ticket through the machine. Meh, it figures that if you came on the day of a full moon, all the water will change into blood thing is a lie. The water's normal. Of course it is. Jeez. Right away, Himino says so regretfully. Even so, she's still unable to hold back her excitement at having come to the aquarium, and her steps are fittingly light. As we came out of the gate, there are several small tanks nearby. Manton Aquarium's first and most celebrated exhibit is the one displaying fish native to Tokyo Bay. There are 4 tanks in this corner from left to right, each one showing the environments of the river flowing into Tokyo Bay. Brackish waters, shoals, and open water come one right after the other. Himino giggles as rockfish, porgy, and other fish we recognize from the supermarket are also there. This booth also showcases environmental problems in order to prompt consciousness of the issue, causing a tightening in my chest. Water pollution is a serious problem. Tomorrow I think I'll try asking Mom to use a little less detergent. That's slightly weird. suddenly it's gotten like this. Himino's reaction is the polar opposite of mine. Even as I'm reading the panels, she's uninterested in the display. Just like that, I read over every last panel. Himino has long since stopped watching me, crossing her arms and puffing out her cheeks. Thanks for waiting, Himino. Jeez, you're too serious, Mayu. If you act like that the whole time, the day will be over. They'll close. I'll be fine. This area isn't that big, and it's not like I'm going to read everything. As soon as she hears what I said, an expression of dissatisfaction appears on Himino's face. Well, let's head to the next area. Next is the tunnel tank. There might be ghosts. Oh, maybe that'll be with the human-like fish. Jeez, come on already. Even saying something like that, upon entering the aquarium I had begun to enjoy myself. Upon cheerfully calling out to Himino, my previous unease has disappeared, leaving me ready to move forward with a light step. Fish! Amazing! Really amazing, and pretty. With no door to partition this booth and the next, passing beside this tank took us to the next one, where larger breeds of fish swim about. This is no ordinary tank, but rather a giant tube-like tunnel, with the left and right sides connected above our heads in an arc. As we walk through the tunnel, we're unable to catch the fish moving about in 3 dimensions. We're able to watch the fish moving about in 3 dimensions. We bring our faces as close to the glass as we can to the glass, giving the illusion that we're in the ocean. Just watching the mantas, the rays, the various types of sharks, and the sea turtles can be intoxicating for us humans. That was a weird sentence. Just for us would have been fine. When I was a child, I thought the ceiling might crack, but now I pass that feeling up, leaving only the throbbing of my heart. The water is a giant bundle of blue, various colors within it shooting every which way. Being able to see how big they are up close, separated by mere centimeters of glass, is so impressive it gives me the greatest realization of our shared existence. Excuse me. Here, Himino's pace slows and she takes her steps one by one. Hey Mayu, look at those huge fangs! Himino, that fish is too cute. Wow, the stingray's face is creepy. Really? I think it's cute. Ah, a manta! It's huge! That little one over there looks yummy. Wow, really? Going to an aquarium and saying, I would like to eat them. That's pretty fucked up. But I think looking at any living thing and saying, I would like to eat you, is pretty fucked up. Talking as the words come to us, our conversation seems out of sync. Our feelings of being touched, however, are the same, and Himino's enjoyment is obvious. Being surrounded by the water and the fish as we are, we feel as though we're freed from any sense of time. Mayu, doesn't this Ray's face look human? Maybe so. It does! The mystery of human-faced fish is solved. Naturally. Well, if you're okay with it, then so am I. Thus, we learn the true nature of one of the urban legends. It was fine either way, but for Himino this was probably best. Though from Himino's enthusiastic stance, even as she watches the fish, she probably realizes just how implausible it all is.
Rather than getting tired of it, though, I'm having fun. We move leisurely through the tunnel, coming to a stop at the center. Up to this point, only the big things have caught our eyes. But on closer inspection of the tank, there's also sand piled up to our knees, with shrimp, shellfish, small fish, and other such creatures dwelling there. Compared to the manta rays, the small shrimp, which can't even be considered child-sized, seem so cute and innocent as they swim about, breaking through the sand. Hey, look, Himino. Ah, it's tiny! As I expected, Himino has followed the human-faced ray, and on seeing my fingertip, speaks in a playful tone. Upon sensing the tremors from Himino poking the glass, the ray kicks at the sand and flees deeper into the tank. Man, he's gone now. As I say this to Himino, I smile at a small shrimp. Himino does the same, smiling wildly. Before long, the two of us are looking up at the ceiling, toying with the question of just how high it is. Even looking up, we can only see the fish swimming, never the ceiling itself. Looking up from the bottom of the sea, one would normally see the rays of sun piercing the water, but looking up here was the opposite. The bottom of the sea seemed to continue forever. It could have been the reflection of the light, or the ceiling really might have been too high. As I realize I can't be sure, my eyes settle on a small but characteristically long-nosed shark swimming past. Sharks! Sharks! That's a ray, isn't it? You just saw it from behind earlier. As soon as I mutter that, Himino responds. It's true that although I'm interested in this type, Himino has fixated on the human-faced ray. Huh? What's up? Himino asks, but I falter. This conversation gives me a sense of what you might call déjà vu. How strange. It felt as if I've had this conversation before. At that moment, my vision is dyed ultramarine. Huh? There's no longer Himino in front of me, but someone else that had caught my attention. This can't be real. Hey, Mayu! The ultramarine color unchanged. Within it, a face like mine passes before me. A face like mine from 5 years ago. Wearing an ultramarine overcoat that merges with the color of my vision, the girl turns to me and seems to be giving me a gentle smile. Creepy! Mayu, wait! Marie... Without hearing Himino calling me back, I start running. We haven't finished looking at everything in the tube tunnel tank, but there's something more important right in front of me. Long hair that looks almost transparent, a thick blue coat, cute boots with fur on them. There was no way I could forget that outfit. That's because it was the outfit my little sister, Nakanobi Mari, wore when she went missing here 5 years ago. The girl quickens her pace as if playing with me and disappears out the other side of the tunnel. There are hardly any people there, but I lose sight of her between shadows of the tanks in the corner. Mari, how? Why? Hey, Mayu, wait! Breathing heavily, Himiko chases after me. I say sorry and break away from her, searching for the vision of Mari. As I come out of the tunnel, I survey the area, spotting a winter skirt nearby. I chase after that swaying form. Behind me, I can hear the intensity of Himino's rushing steps and quicken my pace. Yeah! Having fallen into a trance, I realize what's going on when I slam into someone and fall on my backside. The The girl clicks her tongue as she picks up what she had dropped. As I start to say excuse me to her, she's already moving past me and running off somewhere. Because of that brief incident, I'm able to find my way out of my confusion. Anyway, Mari, I feel bad about the person I'd run into, causing me to feel flustered. In that exchange, I lose sight of both that long hair and that long skirt. But you were going this way, right? I'm not sure myself where I'm running to, but I think you can say I'm definitely running with all my heart. I pass between more tanks than I can remember, but I don't pay them one bit of attention. I just continue following Mari's back, running. Mari is just as bashful as she was the day she disappeared. Mayu, get a hold of yourself! Those few words end my chase. To be more accurate, it was ended by Himeno herself, who had grabbed my wrist. Huh? You suddenly took off, and wouldn't turn around no matter how many times I called you. Even when you dropped something, you had no idea. What happened all of a sudden? Wait, Himeno, if I can go after Mari, I'll explain everything, so... Hold it! I look back to Himeno upon hearing her extremely hurt voice. I see tears forming in Himeno's eyes, and I turn my whole body to face her. I stand in silence like this for several seconds. If I tell Himeno about Mari, I'm sure she will regret bringing me to Manton Aquarium. When she followed me, she had to have seen Mari. It's natural that she would have some misgivings about me chasing some total stranger, since she doesn't know Mari. Even so, I'm not sure what to say. If I apologize now and play dumb, we can probably go back to playfully searching the aquarium for information. But that is not something I can do. It isn't the similarities that are the problem. Mari is here, and just as she had been on that day, there is no way I can go home without taking her with me. That's some pretty messed up rationalization there. If somebody hasn't aged in 5 years, you're probably not going to be able to take them home with you. Mayu, tell me what's going on. Who's Mari? Why do you keep running off without saying anything? Why would she be hurt so much to start crying that her friend just bolted off? Tears are pouring out of Himeno's eyes. I can't understand why she's so sad, but still, my little sister. My little sister, she was here. Little sister? See, the girl I was chasing, she's my little sister. Mari disappeared 5 years ago at this aquarium. Looking at Himeno's tear-stained face, I no longer feel like hiding anything. Perhaps in the depths of my subconscious, I'm hoping Himeno will become satisfied and say she wants to look for Mari with me. Yeah, because, that's something that's likely to happen. I'll explain in more detail later. On top of that, when I look back once more, Himeno's squeezing my hand and holds me back. This is the gentlest but the strongest that she's held my hand. Himeno stares into my eyes, then tilts her head to the side. What do you mean, you were chasing someone? I told you, the little girl that was in front of me, wearing the ultramarine coat and the boots, remember? That was Mari, exactly how she looked long ago. Mayu, snap out of it! Himeno shouts. It isn't simply a loud voice, but one weighed down with a great sadness. It definitely gets through to me, but that doesn't mean it will stop me. Because without a doubt, I was right. Mari had been right before my eyes, so I had to chase. Let's just say that even if this Mari girl is here, she would have grown in 5 years, and her clothes wouldn't be the same. It's summer, so she wouldn't be wearing a coat. Moreover, she was here. I saw her. No, Mayu, no. Mayu, you weren't chasing anyone. You just took off running, leaving me behind, okay? Could you just calm down for a bit? Our tickets will get us back in, so how about some cocoa in the rest area? I think you're tired, since you were a little shaky earlier. Himino seems pretty frantic, so I know she isn't lying just to persuade me. But there is no way that my seeing Mari there was a lie. That's why I start to speak without really knowing what I want to say. Himino. Mayu, okay? Wiping away her tears, Himino smiles at me. Surely she has plenty of strong feelings about this whole thing. I'm sure she has loads to say about me keeping the Mari thing and my reasons for resisting visiting Manton Aquarium quiet. Even so, it seems as though Himino has accepted me. She just smiles and lets it go. That's probably right. Surely if we're by the entrance, we'll know if Mari comes out. Mayu, that's good. That's right. That's more like you. Let's go have some cocoa, and you can tell me everything. As she smiles, Himino once again takes my hand into her soft palm. Oh, that's right, you dropped this. You gotta be more careful. With the hand that isn't holding my own, she hands me something small. It's a keychain. The blue droplet shape is inlaid with the stardust and also holds a starfish charm. It isn't exactly rare, being a giveaway item. But why did Himino have it? Only questions arise in my mind. Why, when that keychain was... I'm thinking about it, I instinctively shake off Himino's hand. Hey, what are you doing? After I picked it up for you and all. Himino's voice is like an arrow, piercing through me. The pain in my chest is nothing more than discomfort. What is Himino saying? That it isn't mine, so I can't possibly have dropped it. And now, I can't look at Himino's face. Liar. Huh? Liar? That's not mine. It isn't something I dropped. It was Mari's. Mari dropped it. That can't be. I'm not lying. Really. There was no Mari-chan, so she couldn't have dropped the keychain. Himino was becoming gruffed as she continued. Really, isn't it you who's lying? No one else is here. That's enough, Himino. You dummy. Saying only that, I turned my back on Himino. When I glanced back, Himino's shocked expression is getting further away. She was there. Mari had definitely been there. Because the keychain Himino had, it belonged to Mari. There was no way I could forget. It was just before Mari went missing.
Creepy spookiness! Woo!
For the two of you, just this once. Upon saying that, Mom handed us each 100 yen coins. That day was a cold winter day at the Manton Aquarium souvenir area. The smell of construction lingered faintly in the air. There were manta and penguin stuffed animals, stationery with the logo on it, and various souvenirs. At the entrance to that souvenir stand, there were the gacha machines containing that keychain. I don't remember all the various types, but star sand was packed in plastic drops, and the charms were all modeled after fish at the aquarium. It was fairly typical for a gacha, but at the time it seemed very enticing to me. It was the same for Mari, and we gazed into the gacha machine. Mari was the only one who would usually beg our parents at this point, but neither of us had bought a souvenir, and both of us said we wanted the keychains. Since Mom couldn't be completely broken, she emphasized the one-time only bit. Yay! Mari held out both hands with glee, while I probably just smiled. I remember that inside. I was just as happy. As to which of us went first, it was of course the more assertive Mari. She was always like this, a cheerful and inquisitive child. How cute, Mr. Star! Mari got a starfish charm keychain. At this point, Mari still didn't know the difference between a starfish and a star. I was next to get one. It was a pink drop with a jellyfish charm. Ah, a jellyfish. Ah, that's the one I wanted most. Mari pointed the index finger of her tiny hand, exclaiming in a loud voice. Mari was just learning how to use first person when she mentioned herself. Instead of the normal I or me, she said it slowly. Hey, big sister, trade. No way, I want this one. Naturally, as I had already fallen in love with that design, I obstinately turned her down. Upon begging my mother for one more time, my mother, who had warned us earlier, held her purse strings tight, leaving Mari to sulk. Fine, stupid big sister. Without listening to my mother's admonishments, she ran off. Sulking after being called stupid, I naturally didn't chase her right away. My mother, being optimistic about the aquarium's small size, also waited a while to look for Mari. And now, all I'm left with are my regrets. If only I had gone after her sooner. If only I'd traded her keychains in the first place. Even so, the past is unchanging, and I am left with only my regrets to bear. So in case I could ever trade with Mari again, I've stubbornly carried around that keychain, the one with the pink droplet shape and the jellyfish charm, like a treasure. I rummaged through my bag, seeking to feel the keychain in my hand. Huh? Why at a time like this, I had forgotten to bring it. The keychain wasn't in my bag nor in my pockets. Huh. A sigh naturally slipped out of my body. After all, I've lost sight of Mari and strayed from Himeno. Himeno has the building map, so there's nothing I can do. Huh? At that moment, a pungent aroma floats by and causes me to speak in surprise. Unable to bear the irritating stench, I pinch my nose. Still, the stench seems to twist in my nose. It's made of the smell of sewage, sulfur, and the nauseating stink of vinegar. Squeesh. As soon as I try to get away from the smell, something soft creeps along the bottom of my foot. As I hesitantly look down, I realize the true identity of the putrid odor. It's a corpse. I'm not sure what type, but it's as big as my arm span. The body is slowly decaying and hasn't retained its original form yet. By its bulging, round eyes and slightly extended tail fin, I could just barely tell it was a fish. I couldn't tell right away, but it has a silhouette similar to a pararaku. I feel like I've seen those eerie glaring eyes characteristic of a freshwater fish. Man, that sounds annoying me. I hate flies. I feel sick. I move my foot slowly, and a small fragment of the corpse sticks to the bottom of my shoe, on the underside of which I notice something wriggling desperately. The slight sound of flapping wings departs from beside my ear, and I understand that the wriggling was an insect. Ah! Shaking, chills run up my spine as if someone had pressed ice to it. I take a step back and drop my cell phone. The phone reacts with the backlight and the LCD screen coming on, illuminating the dead body. The syrupy dead body absorbs the light, and the winged insect that flees to avoid it. There's also a meandering white nematode that seems not to notice. The backlight soon disappears, leaving its stench amongst the darkness. The shadows of those hideous insects are scorched into my retinas, and they sway like the light off a heat haze in the darkness. Something was creeping up from the pit of my stomach. I immediately shut my mouth, enduring what had come up. To intermingling acidic taste of the vomit that had come up and the scent of my stomach acid lingering in my nostrils mixed with saliva and caused my eyes to water in pain. Why was it so painful? I can't figure out the answer to my doubts, not at all. I cover my eyes with both hands. I couldn't have made it if I didn't. But shutting out my vision leaves my sense of smell, causing the smell of rotten water and the stench of the dead body to become more intense, so I uncover my eyes. No, what is this? This is a place for the customers. This is a place for the customers. Is it really alright to be here? On top of that, I was in the middle of chasing Mari, wasn't I? No. That isn't the problem. It's strange enough that there is a place like this in the middle of an aquarium. Anyway, I have to get out of here. Stench is so overpowering, it's as if I can see it. I want to get out of here quickly, satisfying myself with the argument that it's a garbage dump or something, and that if I only get away, I'll be fine. At any rate, I can go back the way I came. No, that's no good. I might run into Himino. At this point, I don't want to see her face. My eyes having adjusted a bit to the darkness, I search for a way out. Here the tanks are broken, the little remaining water stinking, and the bodies of living things have tumbled out here and there. I think of how happy I am that I can't see. Even so, to find the exit, I'll have to look around. My nose is beginning to go numb, and thanks to that, I'm somehow able to retain my sanity. Before long, I find a dim emergency light behind one of the tanks and head towards it as if it were my last hope I could cling to. I feel squishing several times beneath my feet, but I try to ignore it and move on. As I move towards the emergency light, it seems the smell is becoming faint. I get used to the scattered shards of glass and the rotten fish corpses just before I reach the door. The tip of my shoe feels as if it had kicked something hard, something different from before. Wondering what I have kicked, I casually look down. Casually or carefully? I think carefully or something similar would be better in that instance. No. I get the sensation that all the blood has stopped flowing through me, and that my heart has stopped completely. The round thing I kicked has patches of hair, 2 eyes, a nose with a bone in it, and a mouth. Altogether it is... The round thing I kicked has a human face. I see dead people. Speaking accurately, it's a head rather than a face. It's completely lifeless and rolls away with a flopping sound when my foot touches it. Seeing the state of the head was in, I begin to feel ill again, despite having finally calmed down from before. Of the white cranium, only the forehead area seems to be exposed. It seems this is new and has only just begun to decay. No, for starters, there's no way a human head should be rolling around here. It's my imagination. Or it has to be from some model. I haven't yet looked in the direction it was rolling. Convincing myself that it isn't a human head, it really is different, so there was no satisfying myself. I place my hands on the door in an attempt to escape, unable to control my shaking hands. It takes 3 tries before I can open the door. It's a heavy fire door that is usually open. I step inside with my thoughts racing, and the atmosphere changes completely once more. I can hear the sound of the door closing behind me. Inside is a very clean place. The transparent water is tinted with a faint blue, and inside float fantasy-like jellyfish. Countless pillar-shaped tanks are spread around, and the water shimmers as it reflects the light of the fluorescent lamp, red and yellow, green and purple.
The jellyfish bodies diffused light like a prism. In spite of the strange space I have reached, I'm fascinated by the shimmering live art display. Himino. I mutter without thinking. Then I quickly shake my head, erasing the image of Himino's face that appears in my mind. Earlier, she didn't come after me. After all, Himino chose on her own to part ways with me. I'm sure it's because she dislikes me now. It isn't something I should worry about. Oh, my sinuses. Damn it. Even at a quick glance, I can see that there are various types of jellyfish in the tank, having made efficient use of the small space. It's a charming area. It vividly expresses the starry sky, as is fitting of the name Mantum Aquarium. Compared to the earlier Fish of the World booth, this one isn't the least bit in decay. I wonder if Mari came this way. Going back is dangerous. I can't do anything by stopping here. I have to press on. So I start towards the starry sky. I gaze in fascination to the right and left of me. If circumstances weren't what they are, I would have stopped and stared into each and every tank. The tanks lined up all together are beautiful enough, but each one is vivid like the night sky inlaid with jewels. I'll be right back. Alrighty. Altogether, there are 7 tanks. Each one holds a different type of jellyfish, some with poison, some without, categorized by aspects such as where they live. They really are beautiful. I stop and stand in the very center, between the 3rd and 4th tanks. I wonder if the last time we came here, these tanks were here. Nanakobe Mari, my little sister. I lean my back against one of the tanks and sit down. Whenever Mari's face appears in my mind, I lose all my strength. If anyone saw me, I'd be embarrassed. But here and now in Manton Aquarium, there is no one around. I heave a sigh and look up at the ceiling. For some reason, a large fan is revolving here. My memories of the last time we visited Manton Aquarium aren't all bad. It was the first time in a long time all 4 of us had gone out as a family. Mari and I got along really well, and we always held hands as we walked. We would do things like play house or read picture books aloud. Mari was a bit more of a tomboy than I, so even though I was the older sister, she was the one who gave the orders.
Since it was the first time the two of us sisters went to the aquarium, it was natural for us to be very excited. Just as one would expect, the first time Mari and I laid eyes on the creatures of the sea, we experienced fear, awe, and the sense of being deeply moved. The creatures we saw at that time have stayed with me as vivid memories. Happy memories. I still have plenty of them. But on such a special day of all days, Mari and I ended up fighting. The rest proceeded just as I remembered. Since then, my parents buy me anything I want. However, I changed as well, and I didn't really want anything anymore. Greed itself seemed to decline for me, and I never really got excited for anything. That's why, when my mother bought me those boot sandals, I was happy. I was fascinated by their nostalgic ultramarine color. About 1 year after Mari disappeared, she stopped coming up in conversation. I don't know if my mother and father had accepted it as a tragic accident, or if the sadness had slowly faded, but my new normal had begun. I had become an only child. But that is nothing more than an excuse I can't escape from. Mari, you're here, right? Finally, it seems my strength has returned, and I stand up. Even though I asked, no answer will come. The thundering ventilation fan in the ceiling is the only sound I can hear. It was almost at the same time I stood up. That sounds... yeah. A crack appears in the glass tank behind me. Since the glass doesn't make any noise when it splits, I realize it's broken when water splashes on my rear end. Water continues to flow out, gradually spreading to my feet. The amount of water from the tank is more than just puddles after a heavy downpour. Along with the water flowing forth, the jellyfish that had been in the tank until just a few moments ago flowed out. In order to avoid contact with the water already soaking my sandals, I stepped back from the puddles without looking away. How? Why? As if to play further with my already bewildered mind, the tank behind me also cracks. Okay, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. It's a little bit more than cracking. Damn. That's some scary shit. This time I hear the high-pitched noise of glass breaking. Following that, the tanks are each destroyed in turn. Being stuck in the middle of the passage, water is closing in on me from all sides, leaving me pressed in between. The edge of the water is steadily drawing near. What should I do? The words that slide from my mouth also flow away with the water. The colors of the tanks that had once been so vibrant now seemed eerie to me. Among these jellyfish are poisonous ones. Even worse, some of them are fatal. On thinking that, my legs begin to shake in fear. No. But no matter how frightened I become, I know I can't sit down. As if the area I'm in is shrinking, water and jellyfish are both heading toward me, and it's impossible for me to touch the floor. I would rather go slow and not run. I have no choice but to run straight through. I no longer have time for doubt. At a glance, the door on the opposite side is closer than the one I came through. From here, the distance isn't too far to the interior door. Running at top speed should be good enough to reach that one. I hesitate for a moment, then grit my teeth and take off running. It's no more than 10 meters. It is a distance that should pose no trouble, even for someone like me who tested below average in physical endurance. Yeah! When I had run about 5 meters, just having passed the 6th tank, I fall full force onto my back. The floor is wet, so one might say this should have been expected. Okay, that's yeah. Hence why I said go slow. No, this is just disgusting. The water soaks through my skirt and quickly soaks my underwear. The tank water is in direct contact with my skin on my rear. It is cold and wet, uncomfortable, but unavoidable. Just slightly weird detailing. Just say that it soaked through. You know? When I put my hand on the floor to try and stand up, I discovered that action is a mistake. Ouch! I squeeze my eyes shut at the pain that feels like I've been stabbed by a cold metal needle. No, it just doesn't feel like that. I have been stabbed by something. I have been stung by... Shaking, I shift my line of sight to my hands. A jellyfish is covering my right hand. At that moment, I get upset that I can't feel the coldness of the water around my hand. I got stung. What do? The pamphlet introduced the jellyfish has gotten mixed up with pieces of glass on the tank. Man o' War. Oh, ball. I noticed the name without much of a reaction, but it has to be poisonous to be called that. There have also been incidents of fatalities. Poison. What do if I've been stung? Do I clean it? Is it bad if I don't clean it? I can feel my pulse quickening. I wonder if it's the poison making its way through me. What do I do? When I try to will myself to calm down, my impatience ramps up. Someone help me! You either die or go full crazy here. Trying to use my pulsating right hand for support, I push myself up. I slide in the puddle and can't stand. It hurts. It really hurts. I put water in the area where I had been stung in an attempt to rinse it out. However, the opening of the wound stings and startles me. I need fresh water. Trying to apply pressure to the vein, I tightly grip the area where I've been stung. Dad, Mom, Mino, Mari. Wanting to be saved, I call out as loud as I can. However, in reality, my voice has already grown hoarse. The contours of my eyes grow hot. And from them fall individual droplets. No, I'm going to die. My voice is no longer really a voice at all. Before long, an electric shock runs through my right hand. The subsiding of the intense pains brings my senses back to me. But my voice will no longer come out. Even when I try to think of something, nothing happens, except a sensation of pain whirling inside me that fills me to the brim. Unable to control my body, I fall to the ground. First my head, then my chest, then my stomach to my feet. Having fallen on my face, half of my body is submerged in water. My heartbeat quickens. I become acutely aware of the flow of my blood. Unable to stand it, I vomit. The very idea of being able to endure it no longer occurs to me. Even so, the poison won't be expelled from my body. My entire being becoming numb is proof that my blood has been pumping so quickly it has worn down my veins. Wanting to rinse out the remaining vomit in my mouth, I suck in water. It tastes like salt. Within my body, I'm struggling with all I have. On the outside, my shell has long exceeded the limits of its stamina. Blood is soaking through the capillaries in my eyeballs, and the puddles spreading on the floor are pierced with red. Gradually, I stop feeling my blood flow. Is it because my heart has stopped, or because my consciousness has disappeared? Either way, my consciousness stops and fades into the darkness. With the same simplicity that a ventilation fan spews out old air, my breath is evacuated from my body. When I come to, I'm still gazing into the cylindrical tank, vacantly thinking nothing other than, I wonder if something's in there. I just stare into that tank. I have neither the urge to call out nor the desire to walk away. Merely the sensation of my consciousness alone is floating along the rippling sea. Why on earth am I here anyway? What have I come here to do? Whether I can't remember, or there was just no reason from the beginning. The jellyfish are pretty, especially this jellyfish. Its color is so bright. The voice that... Oh, I know what happened. She's a jellyfish now.
What the fuck?
The voice that starts talking right in front of me catches my attention for some reason. I feel like I've heard it before. Somewhere. Well, who is it? I am unable to remember clearly, seeing only a wavering face that won't come into focus. Anyway, Mayu, where did she go? Mayu? That girl. She talked like she was looking for someone. Poor thing. If she's lost someone here, she probably won't find them. Wait a second. Where is this to begin with? Swaying, swaying, softly, softly. Drip, drop. The sound of drops resonating all around me. Gradually ceasing to care, my consciousness melts into the water.
Yeah, I got that.
No, I can't think of anything. I'm becoming panicked. If I don't calm down, with my thoughts swirling around so frantically, I'm getting even more confused. It's a vicious cycle. My sandals are getting dirty. It isn't the first thing that occurs to me, but regardless, it's my only clear thought. The puddles of water are gradually drawing closer, and I can't feel anything from the strange jellyfish. I feel my heartbeat speed up as my chest starts to hurt from nervousness. At this point, I have to run through without worrying about my sandals, though they are sandals. The soles are strong. As long as the jellyfish don't jump, I probably won't get stung. Little by little, the safe spots are disappearing. I tightly pull my legs together, which makes me stagger. Yeah! I let out a small scream and straighten up a bit. With nothing behind me to lean against, I'm just about cornered. I wonder if I'll die of jellyfish poisoning. Rocked by waves of blended nervousness and fear, I carelessly entertain that line of thinking. The meters gauging my fear must be in full tilt. I think with cool self-deprecation.
You, from earlier.
Huh? The sudden yell confuses me. Upon looking in the direction of the voice, I see that the door has been thrown open and a man is standing there. Shoot, why are your feet exposed? Ugh, it can't be helped. That is definitely Orochi-san. The man we had called names is now gently removing his shoes and tossing them over to me. My mind races as I catch them. They are thick-soled boots. Put those on and make your way over here. All the jellyfish floating there have deadly poison. Be careful. I take off my sandals and put my feet into his boots, just as he tells me to. The size doesn't fit at all, and they were way too big, but not so big I can't walk in them. I cautiously take a step, and it's confirming it's all right. Take my second, then third steps towards him with my sandals in one hand. Thank you very much.
You can thank me later. For now, don't look around. Just come toward me.
I know my breathing is increasingly rough, and I get a little embarrassed. However, knowing some concessions will have to be made, I walk through the water and over the jellyfish. When I step on a jellyfish, I feel the squishing sensation through the shoes and shudder. You mean the boots? There are shards of glass in the puddles, and that makes me want to thank Hiyoshi-san for being considerate enough to lend me such strong shoes. I can walk the remaining meter. Hiyoshi-san seems fairly close. Adjusting my breathing, I carefully take the remaining 3 steps. There is no mistake. In my carelessness, I have overlooked a transparent jellyfish at my feet. Even though I can't see it, I can clearly feel it, and the baggy boots I am wearing throw off my balance. At this rate, I will end up on my butt. If I fall now, all of the help I have received will be for nothing.
Watch out!
However, my body is supported by some strength that pulls me back. Hiyoshi-san's right hand is grabbed onto my left wrist. It was a close one. Just like that, I had been pulled out of the room with the broken tanks. As soon as I was out of danger, Hiyoshi gave me a mighty pull and shut the fire door. This is in front of the souvenir stand. More importantly, why are you here? Hiyoshi-san steadies me against the wall in front of the souvenir stand. The terror from a moment ago hasn't escaped through the heavy, dark gray emergency door. Isn't this Manhattan Aquarium? Besides, before I met up with you, Hiyoshi-san, there was so much... Hiyoshi-san just stares at me in my flustered state.
Alright, calm down, Mayu-chan.
A wry grin appears on Hiyoshi-san's face, and he motions in front of the souvenir stand before sitting down. Today I have nothing but bad memories in relation to the floor, so I merely lean against the wall. The gacha machines are still there, but the whole lineup is new, and I don't know a single one of the products.
Well then, have you calmed down a bit?
Yes, thank you very much, Hiyoshi-san.
Yeah, I'm glad. And you can call me my first name. I don't really care about who's older and who's younger.
I'm like, what's the difference in these? It's like, there is no difference in these. These are all the same thing. What is it you want to know about this aquarium, Hiyoshi-san?
Jeez, I told you to call me by my given name.
That wry grin appears again, but there is nothing I can do. I have some hesitation about actually calling an older guy by his given name, and I've only heard his first name once, so I don't really remember it. After that, Hiyoshi-san makes a serious face. I think of him as a light-hearted person, but as his mouth straightens, his face seems very focused.
Well, it's fine. At any rate, there's only one thing I know. This is Mantum Aquarium, but it is not Mantum Aquarium.
It's not Manton Aquarium?
Something like that. I don't know what the principle or the cause behind it, but this Manton Aquarium is on a distinct time axis from the one you and I visited earlier, Mayu-chan. That's what I think. I can't think of it as anything else.
What? 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 I don't... What? Different time axis. How about just saying that it's a parallel dimension or a pocket dimension or something slightly more sensible? You know, you just slipped into the fucking Twilight Zone, you know? It's a close parallel dimension. Very close. A different time? Whether past or present, you could even call it a parallel world. I can't understand what he is saying. Not in the least. How do you know this, Hiyoshi-san?
That is...
Hiyoshi-san mumbles and snorts. He looks my way and smiles bitterly.
Mayu-chan, didn't you meet any friends or acquaintances from long ago?
Huh?
On the contrary, you didn't see any staff or other customers, did you?
His words seemed very enlightened. I couldn't think of a single thing. After all, I just come from that experience firsthand. However, there was something that bothered me as well. Hiyoshi-san had said long ago, Mari, who hasn't changed since that day, but then why? I don't get it. That bit about long ago? Therefore, I rejected it. In doing so, I could affirm the fact that I had reunited with Mari.
Is that so? It seems I said something a bit strange then. As he looks away and says this, I have no response for him. Staying like that for a moment, Hiyoshi-san says, "By the way," and continues speaking. "I think what caused the jellyfish tank to rupture was an expansion of gas from something within the tank." So the gas expanded and ruptured the tank from within? If we're thinking about the cause, right, since there's no staff in a space-time distortion, then it's not strange for the oxygen modulator here to break down. Then it wasn't the work of ghosts. To my murmuring, he has no answer. Even if we have to force ourselves, we should think positively, right? For us to have come back here, and there to be ghosts, it's not something I can take. Really? You're totally cool with alternate dimensions and time slipping, but ghosts are just a little bit beyond what you can handle, huh? Can we get back to our original time axis or something like it? We can get back, definitely. Hiyoshi-san asserts decisively, without looking me in the eye. Once again, he starts on the next topic with a quick, "By the way, that girl that was with you, the one who seemed into the occult and stuff, what happened to her?" "You mean Himino?" Yeah, Himino-chan. Weren't you together?" I inflate my cheeks without thinking about it. When he notices, I become embarrassed and look down. I rest my hands on my knees, and moving them up and down, I say, "I don't know." "Oh, you're a pretty easy read, Mayo-chan. Got into an argument, did you?" "It has nothing to do with you, Hiyoshi-san. Still, you do get that there is something foul about this aquarium, right, Mayu-chan? You experienced that yourself." At his words, a pang of pain surges through my chest. That room with the rotten corpses, the sudden cracking of the tank in the jellyfish booth. When I think that the same accidents could happen to Himino, I instinctively leap up. Speaking honestly, I have no desire to see Himino's face, but knowing that the whole aquarium is dangerous, I can't calm down. What ifs, imagining possibilities alone makes me want to cry. "Wait a second, Mayu-chan. You must be tired from all that's happened." Moving quicker than I do, Hiyoshi-san's hand holds me back. "I'll go look for Himino-chan for you. I'm more knowledgeable about this place. You wait here." As he says this, Hiyoshi-san gives a thumbs up. It was a mystery to me. We had only just met today and had an incidental conversation, so I wondered why he had come to rescue me. He was even showing concern for Himino. He was supposedly a total stranger, so why? "He's one of you's future husband, bum bum bum, that came traveling back in time." Wonder how weird this is gonna get. Without hearing my response, he starts walking away from where the jellyfish booth was. His face and profile made me feel very reassured. "Please wait, I'll go." Somehow moving my heavy legs, I followed behind Hiyoshi-san. It would have been easier to leave it to Hiyoshi-san. However, Himino is my best friend. Though I can't believe we had fought, that reality can't be changed, so I want to get her. Since the souvenir shop is near the entrance, Hiyoshi-san heads towards the closest tunnel tank. If Himino is still in the building, then we need to look everywhere for her. I'm able to catch up with Hiyoshi-san before he enters the tunnel. I'm going too. "Huh, Mayu-chan, I told you to wait there for me." "I can't do that. Besides, Himino is my friend." On hearing what I said, Hiyoshi-san gives me a patronizing look while grinning at me. Looking into the tunnel from the outside, I realize it hasn't changed from the Manton aquarium I had seen earlier that day. Large fish like manta rays and sharks swim about. This is the tunnel tank. If you two went in order earlier, then shouldn't we start with the first exhibit? I nod. That's what Hiyoshi-san said is right. He adds, "Right," and walks on.
I notice something there and pull him back. Look over there, I say as I point to an area nearby that's visible from the entrance. As the silhouette becomes clearer on closer observation, I become frightened. Something hops freely from side to side. It bounces about the tunnel numerous times, then stops itself. After bouncing up and down on the floor several times, it ceases to move, completely exhausted. Straining my eyes from far away, I can see that it is a fish. From what I can see from 10 meters away, it has sharp fangs and a body as thin as a rail. That might be a cutlass fish. Hiyoshi-san mutters this, having laid eyes on the same thing I had. Still, fish aren't creatures that can hop up and down around a room like that. Let's not engage the fish that just jumped around the room and came out of who knows where, since I don't think any of these tanks are open, so let's not do that. At any rate, let's head inside, I suggest to him. Guess we should. It wouldn't be any good to get a look at something like... And it attacks us. And he's dead. Or maybe she's dead. I never got to hear the rest of what he was going to say. Huh? It all took place in a matter of seconds, leaving me unable to make sense of what happened. However, I gradually realized what was unfolding before my eyes. From Hiyoshi-san's neck up, I could see through to the tank. I didn't understand what I was seeing. In other words, his head was no longer where it should be. Having lost a piece of himself so valuable to the human body, he collapsed slowly on the spot. From there, he never moved again. Soaking up the blue lighting, his reddish-black blood spread across the floor. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. No! My vocal cords were splitting. Why? How had he gotten like this? What could have happened to have left him in this state? Hiyoshi-san's head tumbles along the ground and catches my eye. His eyes are wide and his pupils dilated. The grin I had seen hours earlier still spread across his face. There are marks at the nape of his neck as if his head had been bitten clean off. Hiyoshi-san. I intended to run and leave the dead Hiyoshi-san. Whatever left those bite marks was still nearby, but I couldn't do it. Oh. No. No. It hurts. The area below my knees had become pitch black. My boots. Mom. There was no pain, only the visualization of pain running through my mind. In spite of losing my legs, I can't actually feel the pain. Of course not. That body of mine has lost its legs. I'm watching it from a separate place. This subjective point of view would have been impossible while I was alive. My head was already just like Hiyoshi-san's, just rolling around on the floor. The cold temperature of my blood, that was the last thing I felt. Right before I lose consciousness, I see its unbelievable true form through the wavy mist of my fading vision. With many fangs and a giant body, it was a fish. So I didn't get decapitation 1, I got decapitation 2. So that's 2 fatalities I found. So now we have to investigate the murder fish. Oh shit. I should have hit save. It goes right back to ours. Okay.
Okay, Skip just plows through to the next choice. Okay, I'll save here. Alrighty. We should get a better look. We should get weapons, that's what we should get! After waiting near the entrance for several seconds, a fish resembling a cutlass fish bounces around the tunnel, then flops down on the floor, causing the amount of fish corpses on the floor to increase. What? The gathering of numerous fish scales reflects the fluorescent light back like a kaleidoscope. Though it is the same as the fluorescent lighting, the light reflected back is vivid, putting the sensation of the scale slipperiness in my mind. That's pretty creepy. Hiyoshi-san's lip curl up in disgust as he grumbles. I also thought it was creepy, but compared to the rotten corpses I had seen earlier, that was as far back as I allowed my memory to go. Could that be... In contrast to Hiyoshi-san, who had averted his eyes, I just continued to stare and was able to pick up on something. Those fish hopping around, they're coming from below, from that place that looks like a vent. From the beginning of the tunnel, the fish hop up intermittently. It doesn't appear as though they are going to stop, with a few new fish popping up after a fixed interval of time passes. The fish mechanically shoot out of the vent, ricochet about the tunnel at high speed, then finally, their vigor exhausted, die as they land in a pile on the floor. That's really fucked up, dude. Like, what the fuck? Fish being jettisoned from a vent, bouncing around, and then falling dead on the floor. At the moment they fall, the fish's long, narrow bodies wriggle like snakes. They collide with other fish as they cease moving, the next fish hopping to its death in the same manner. They are. Good eye, Mayu-chan. So many strange things had happened that I'm probably becoming used to them. Unable to bear these strange circumstances any longer, a self-deprecating smile reaches my lips as I give a light laugh. Whoa. At the same time as the fish leaves up, Hiyoshi-san takes a handkerchief from his pocket and tosses it into the giant cylinder. The fish pierces the handkerchief once as it dances in the air. Then the fish passes through it a second and then a third time as it bounces repeatedly. In an instant, the fabric he tosses has become dust. Dust, really? Like, that's a lot of work for a fish. On placing myself in the handkerchief's position, I subconsciously cover my neck. It shouldn't penetrate this. Himino. Not having a form should mean it isn't going through. What? A form. A dead body. I didn't want those words to pass my lips, but it was definitely as Hiroshi-san said. Mayu-chan, you don't remember where you and Himino-chan split up, do you? I look down and tilt my head to the side. I'm worried about Himino. I can no longer make baseless statements like, Himino's fine because she's Himino. The reality is that Hiyoshi-san hadn't rescued me. I'd no longer be in this world. There's no way I can let that happen to Himino. I have to hurry and meet up with her, then find a safe place. So how do they avoid getting murdered by the fish? That's slightly weird. Okay, well, we need to do a once-over of the building. Hiyoshi-san knocks on a panel that is to the left if you are looking in from the entrance. I hear it make a hollow sound before he pushes the panel in. Making a rattling sound, the panel opens. This isn't just a display, but also a door. In contrast to the nature-reminiscent blue exhibit space before the door, a mechanical gray hallway stretches before us. The dim, white fluorescent light flickers and fades on and off.
Is this the staff passageway?
Correct. When I came through here earlier, I saw some employees, so I was lucky it had been left unlocked.
Could the fact that the lights are on mean that someone just came through here?
Even if they had, that person should be aware of all the unusual phenomena here. Anyway, if we go through this passage, we can circumvent the tunnel and look for Hamino-chan.
Alright.
Hiyoshi-san walked ahead, taking several steps before I stepped in. I was hesitant about walking through the staff passageway without permission, but it was certainly better than going through the tunnel tank. You almost die once, and some weird, super dangerous shit starts happening. I wouldn't feel bad about going wherever I needed to go to get through the shit. Moreover, if we were able to come across a staff member, we might be able to gain some information about this Manton aquarium. Big sister. The staff passageway is approximately 10 meters, just wide enough that people can barely pass each other. Walking up ahead of me, Hiyoshi-san's shoulder width is so great that I wouldn't be able to pass him unless he turned sideways. It's not what that looks like. If that was just a single door, then maybe. Even more than before, Hiyoshi-san seems stronger and more reliable than ever.
Baby, that's the trick.
Big sister. Huh? That voice that I thought was just in my head bore a silhouette the second time. It made me suspect that it was probably an optical illusion. Behind me, I was sure I had heard a nostalgic voice. What's up, Mayu-chan? Hiyoshi-san asks me without turning around. I speak out that I'm fine and turn my attention to his back. Big sister. However, that was my confirmation. It was neither a visual nor auditory hallucination. The voice calling me, Mari's voice calling me big sister, had definitely come from behind me. Mari. Unable to hold back, I let that name slide from my lips. The next moment, I wanted to see Mari so bad, I turned back. You can't, Mayu-chan. My eyes open wide in surprise as Hiyoshi-san plants himself firmly in front of me, arms spread wide. I had unconsciously backtracked to the passageway entrance, back to where we had started. Huh? Suddenly going back? Don't you remember where we came from? Where is Mari? I see. You moved without hesitation, as if you had been called, so I thought that's what it might be. Calm down, Mayu-chan. There was nobody there. Huh? But the voice. There is no voice, alright? Calm down. You have to calm down. His expression as he calls for me to calm down is frantic. A crease appears in his forehead as he strains his voice. I steady my breathing as I stand in fear of his threatening attitude. Breathing deeply, I keep my back against the wall of the corridor. As my determination rises, so does my body temperature. Listen, calm down, calm down, calm down. Hiyoshi-san, I'm all right. Calm down. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Are you all right? Ow, 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 ow. My words don't seem to be reaching Hiyoshi-san at all, as his eyes open wide and his voice rings out. Like a broken DVD player, he cannot move past that one syllable. Hiyoshi-san? I back up instinctively. However, as if he's completely unaware, Hiyoshi-san just keeps yelling in a strange voice. Hiyoshi-san, please tell me you're okay, aren't you? 3 meters away from Hiyoshi-san, I peer at him. He sways, his legs unstable, but he's definitely moving towards me. Down he goes. Almost at the same time the strange voice stops, he falls over on the spot, as if his power supply has been cut off. He suddenly tumbles to the ground. The sound of him flopping to the ground sends a chill down my spine. I'm not familiar with what you would call ukemi, but I know the way he fell is dangerous.
Are you injured? Sitting down, I extend a quivering hand. It's probably a bit rude to the person who saved me, but he would understand. For at this moment, the image of his strange behavior is seared into my mind. Even when I call out to him, there is no response. But if I strain my ears, I can hear shallow breathing. Thank goodness he's alive. That alone is enough to satisfy me. There's something I can rely on within this mysterious aquarium. What in the world was all that? Still having my doubts, I am, for the moment, relieved. What should I do? I can't just leave him unconscious and defenseless while I proceed further into the staff passageway. On the other hand, carrying someone an entire head taller than I am is impossible. Hiyoshi-san, please wake up. I call his name over and over, but he still doesn't respond. I hesitate a bit, and then I touch his back. Putting all my strength into it, I'm able to roll him onto his back. His body is now facing up with his eyes closed. His chest goes up, then down, to form a breath. Hiyoshi-san! I can't make the distinction between whether he's just asleep or has passed out. I've never seen someone who has lost consciousness. I take deep breaths to keep myself from giving way to panic. Other than the sound of Hiyoshi-san's breathing, the sound of machines running echo. Sometimes I can hear the sound of my own breathing. I'm alone. My awareness of the situation quickly turns to anxiety. I am all alone inside this incomprehensible mountain aquarium. The only other existence I can rely on, Hiyoshi-san, currently has his eyes closed. Hiyoshi-san, please wake up! Growing impatient, I shake his shoulders. He doesn't even moan, and his lack of a reaction only increases my anxiety, so I call his name in a louder voice. Whether or not my voice reaches him, his eyes flutter open. On closer inspection, he has distinct double eyelids. Thank goodness you're awake. Are you looking down on me too? Hiyoshi-san, what? I'm Nakanobe Mayumi. I'm not looking down on you or anything like that. You too? Screaming, he grabs my left ankle as I squat next to him. His strength is unthinkable compared to his gentle demeanor from only moments ago. His rough hands dig into my soft skin. Terror rages within my heart at the first brush with a man's real power. Please stop. Whenever he seems to be losing his grip on my leg, he tightens it even more. Every time I verbalize my pain, his grip intensifies a little further. My concern for him is gone. Only the feeling of his rejection remains. You little... I realize that, little by little, he's pulling me closer to him. He really is that strong. I haven't done anything. Ow! Hiyoshi-san! Gripping my ankle tightly, Hiyoshi-san pulls himself up little by little. His chest is huge, and the muscles in his arms bulge and form a mountain shape. His face lacks the appearance of sanity, and his eyes are looking in different directions. They roll without end, seeming as if they will go completely white. Though I intended to put distance between us, I am unable to do so. As if coaxed, I'm pulled closer to him. No. Rejected. I'm being rejected. The one's doing it. You all. No. While standing himself up, he sluggishly lifts his left hand. His fingers point in my direction. There is no mistaking his intent to grab me with both hands. I'm filled with the desire to be free from him. That's 3 choices. That's pretty good. No.
time with my words of rejection, both my legs jerk frantically. At any rate, I don't think I can take off if he grabs my right leg, so I struggle with all my might, not even worrying about whether my skirt flips up. He is as strong as before, but his movements are slow, somehow allowing me to continue my resistance. Nevertheless, between the pain and my resistance, my stamina is fading rapidly. Before I realize it, my haggard breath is louder than a machine's motor. Don't reject me. You should be more accepting. Hyoshi's words give me an unchanging, disordered image. Whether he's giving up on grabbing my other leg or not, his body leans towards me. The upper half of my body falls back, but he quickly yanks my leg and throws off my balance. Yeah. Upon hearing me let out a scream, the corners of his mouth twitch. He is enjoying this. He is enjoying watching me lose the ability to resist. His expression makes this clear to me. One more thing has become clear to me, that is, that I can no longer see him as the Hiyoshi-san I once knew. I'm sorry. Even so, my consciousness is tugging at me. My words of apology are proof of that. I use the heel of my boot to kick Hiyoshi-san, who's pulled himself up in the nose. Huh? Oh, okay. Kick him in the nose, okay. My skirt flutters up, and I reflexively hold it down. Seizing the opportunity, Hiyoshi-san yanks my left leg hard towards himself. Whether it is because of his hesitation or not, my other leg slides free of his right hand. A single line of blood trickles from his nose. The heels must be harder than I thought. Upon seeing the blood, I shut my eyes immediately. However, I realize I no longer have the luxury of instinctually worrying about him. Pulling myself upright, I break into a run in order to escape him. In no time, he has moved in front of me. I want to get away from Hiyoshi-san. With that one thought, I decide to go in a direction unknown to me. Kicking me? Isn't that impudent? Could the stench on the sole of that shoe be Ruka? Or is it Mickey? I hear him say after getting about 5 meters away from him. I quickly regret turning back. Feels good, does it? Haha, that's fine. That's just fine. Hiyoshi-san yells, writhing on the floor. The transformation of the one who had rescued me is too devastating. Even so, there is no change in the fact that he tried to hurt me. I understand somewhere in my heart that, through no fault of his own, he is no longer sane, and the desire to protect my own body is winning inside of me. I'm sorry, but as I shut my eyes, I turn away from Hiyoshi-san. I'm sure he isn't looking at me anymore. In other words, he is no longer conscious of anything. His voice attempts to stop my fleeing legs many times, but no matter how fast he is, I've already decided to head for the exit of the staff passageway. As soon as the door is between us, I put my ear against it and listen to the sounds of the passageway I just left. However, it is my own violent pulse and not Hiyoshi-san going crazy that I can hear. Honestly, I almost feel relieved. Being separated like this leaves me feeling worried about him, but at the moment I don't have the time to spare. I wonder if this is wrong. It's natural that I'd have these doubts. I say over my shoulder. The only thing to respond to my words is the wind rustling my hair. That's right, this is Finally, I begin to confirm my location. This place is semi-outdoors, and even colder than the passageway. Despite the fact that it's summer, I shiver instinctively. Below eye level, there are several plastic chairs in a row. In the center of the chairs, which are lined up like dolls on a top-tiered stand, is a stage that is a little smaller than a school classroom. Bowls and buckets are lying atop it. In the center of the stage is something resembling a small shed. A stage? That's right, for things like the sea lions. A stage, one facility that no aquarium should lack. From kids to adults, the show is something everybody can enjoy. This small city aquarium, Mantum Aquarium, still has a stage despite its size. Looks like it hasn't been used in a while. Upon muttering this, doubt enters my mind. Hiyoshi-san, this place was a shifted time axis, but even so, each section just feels too different. The Fish of the World booth, where the first strange phenomenon occurred, the jellyfish booth, and the tunnel tank, thinking back on them in order, they each felt like their own distinct time period. Really? Really. The countless fish that decayed, the immensely entrancing beauty, with each new facility I entered, the look changed. Ridiculous. There can't be. I start to say, then shake my head. I don't know how many things I have thought impossible have come to pass here. This crazy theory, perhaps. Never mind. I have to find Himino. Pushing down my doubts to the edge of my mind, I head down the stairs for the guest seating towards the stage. This is... About halfway to the stage, I find a booklet on top of the seat that is thick enough to contain about 50 pages. Manton Aquarium Guidebook is written on the front cover. That's all I see. Just the name and nothing else. This has a map inside. I suddenly realize as I am finishing my sentence. Since Himino has our map, this is definitely going to come in handy. Thumbing through the pages, I see that it is an instruction to Mantum Aquarium. Other than that, there are bits of trivia about the fish on display. Like that Pararaku is the biggest freshwater fish, or that the orca communicate using ultrasonic waves. I want to read through this later. Though I don't want to part with the guidebook, I detach the map from it. Not knowing what might happen, I come to the conclusion that I don't want to carry anything bulky. Okay. Suppressing my desire to sit down and read it, I return the guidebook to the seat. Staff room. There might be somebody there. On weeknights, they hold the adult-targeted Mantum Aquarium Exploratory Tour. It supposedly shows off the other side of Mantum Aquarium. The raunchy side. For that expedition, pathways that customers are normally unaware of are printed in the guidebook. According to the map, there appears to be a staff waiting area. It seems they don't stop there on the exploratory tour, but the place itself is printed on the map. If I go there, somebody may be there. Looking at the map, I wonder which way I should go as I follow the route. It seems there are two paths to the staff room. The first path is through the passageway I went through earlier. The other seems to be through an underground passage connected to the inside of the shed on the stage. Even though it's labeled as underground, it's more accurate to say it is one floor down. I still don't know how Hiyoshi-san is, so I think I should take the latter path. I'm scared after all. Himino, where are you? Lowering my defenses, these weak-hearted words well up inside me. I mumble them out as I step onto stage. Following those words, anxiety descends upon me. I am right here. No way. Himino?
I doubt that voice, which seemed ready and waiting on me, was an illusion. No way. That's cruel, Mai.
Himino.
I can hear Himino's voice, but I can't see her. Where is she? I think as I glance about the stage, Himino is nowhere to be found.
That's right. Inside the shed.
When the shed at the end of the stage enters my line of sight, I head for it at double speed. The floor is wet enough that it seems I should slip, but somehow I hold on and move forward. The inside of the shed is as if a waiting area and a warehouse had been combined into one room. The fishy stench is probably from the stains from food used during the shows. In the past, I had seen a fish thrown into a sea lion that caught a ball with its nose.
Himino. Himino.
At the edge of the shed, in a plain metal chair against the wall, Himino is leaning against the back of what appears to be a state of total exhaustion.
You.
I have so much to say to you, Himino, because seeing her face, any thoughts of our argument are completely blown out of existence. Words that found no form are forever pushed away. The fact that she is all right, all on its own, makes me happy.
It's fine. First of all, calm down. Himino, what's wrong? Don't make that face. There's nothing to worry about.
I have a lot of things to say, Himino, but my words get caught in my throat. Seeing Himino breathing heavily, my own pulse quickens. As I stand there, forgetting how to breathe, Himino lays a hand on my chest. Excuse me. Even when she has a cold, Himino would still come to school with a smile on her face. When she got injured at the club, she wouldn't take time off from gym class. That's why, even in this aquarium, I thought somewhere in my heart that Himino would be fine. If only we could reunite, surely she'd lead with a smile. We'd go home side by side. That had been my hope.
I'm sorry, Mayu. I don't think I can make it.
It is so easy for Himino's soft complaints to punch me right in the heart. With just that one phrase, I dropped to my knees in front of her.
Mayu, get up.
I won't. No, because I shake my head at Himino's words. I can't remain standing, not while seeing my precious friend like this and hearing her frail voice. Every time Himino speaks, she spews white nematodes from her mouth. I'm not sure if she is aware of it or not, but thin creatures that look like mealworms wriggle at her feet. With a clatter, Himino seems as if she might fall from the chair. I support Himino from under her arm, propping her up.
Thank you.
Don't thank me, Himino. What happened? Himino's body is hot, the same as when I had my 104-degree fever. No higher than that.
I'm glad I got to see you again, but I didn't want you to see me in this state.
Unable to finish what she was saying, Himino coughs up several nematodes along with some spit. I don't want to see it. Not necessarily because it's weird or disgusting. I just don't want to see Himino this way. Himino, let's go to the hospital. We'll eat ice cream, right?
That's probably impossible now.
Hearing the words that had fallen instinctively from my mouth, Himino smiles back at me. Even as I ignore the lie in Himino's smile, I still become aware of it. It's not impossible!
Mayu, It's not impossible. I'll take you to the hospital, okay? Let's go. Thanks that you feel that way. Fills me up. It's not just my feelings. Got it, Himino? Can you stand? Don't overdo it, okay, Mayu? That's right. I wanted to apologize to you, Mayu. In an attempt to lend her my shoulder, I take Himino's arm, but she quickly brushes me off. Himino's hands are shaking. Despite this, she reaches into her pocket and pulls out the keychain. Yeah, by the way, when I thought back to when I picked it up, it most likely wasn't yours, Mayu. I'm such an idiot. You're not. It was because I didn't listen at all to what you said. Because I was so convinced you had dropped it, Mayu. Thinking back, she's repeating the same thing over and over. Himino's consciousness must be getting hazy. Every time Himino gets choked up, she vomits up vicious sputum and lively bugs. Even so, I can't look away from Himino. I get the feeling that if I don't look at her face, I will never again see her smile. I don't think I'm being overdramatic or anything of the sort, since I had never heard of someone throwing up bugs. Here, you take it, Mayu. What? This keychain? Yeah, there seems to be no mistake someone dropped it. That's why. Give it back to them. Give it back? We're going to back together, right? Manton Aquarium is small. Surely we'll find them right away, won't we? Jeez. Mayu, you're an idiot. Can't you tell by looking? There's no way I can go home. No, don't, Himino. If you say that, it'll come to pass. Himino places the keychain on my palm, then softly places her hands once more on my shoulders. She moves her hands from there to the back of my head. Then with a light, feather-like sensation, she pulls me close to her. Himino, Mayu, get home, no matter what. That hug lasts only a few seconds. Then Himino lightly pushes me away. I couldn't take it if I infected you. Oh, just leave me here. Right at the end of her sentence fades away, her head flops forward. No way, no way. Himino's body, with her eyes shut and not even one fingertip moving, is hot. Even so, Himino won't turn her smile my way. She won't respond to my voice. No way, there's just no way. Without a second thought, I hold Himino. She said I might get infected, but that doesn't matter to me. Having welled up inside her mouth, nematodes crawl about Himino's puffed up lips, experiencing feelings of intense denial. I wipe away a nematode and crush it. A murky green liquid remains on my fingers. I quickly rub it off on the floor. She's moving? With her chest so close to mine, I can feel a pulse. No mistake, it is a heartbeat. Pulling away from Himino, my trembling hand somehow lands on her left breast. Having sunk into that softness, I definitely feel a pulse going ba-bum, ba-bum. She's alive. Himino, I'm so glad. Something's gonna bust out of her chest now or some shit, isn't it? That's gonna be fucked up. Just like that, I forgot about rubbing off the filth and sit down. Even with bugs getting into her body, as long as she's alive, I think it can work out somehow. I won't even consider the possibility of it not working out. But I can't think of a concrete way to save Himino. Within my complete blank mind, there is only anxiety and fear. Having slumped more than I sat down, a third person's voice reaches my ear. Anisakis and Pseudoterranova. Philometra that aren't supposed to infect humans. I wonder what exactly could cause something like this to happen. If the situation wasn't what it is, I would immediately preserve some of them in a petri dish. What? From behind me, a cold voice interrupts my thoughts. In contrast with the feverish Himino, that voice was coolly to the nape of my neck. It is a woman's voice I've never heard.
It is a pity I cannot collect a precious sample. I don't have the luxury of time right now. I must find that child. Quickly. What? What a cute girl. What is it? Might you have come to the aquarium to have fun with your friend? Aquarium. This is Manton Aquarium, right? That's right, me and Himino. So this girl, she's called Himino-chan then. That woman looks to be in her 30s, her blue eyeshadow leaving quite the impression. Her appearance coupled with her calm manner of speaking, both told me she must be quite mature. Her light-colored hair is collected in an updo, and her suit is impeccably chosen. Those clothes. Could you be an aquarium staff member? Yes, I am Saganuma Rico. At this aquarium I am, I suppose, a representative of the director? Like a vice director? A little bit different. It would take some time to explain. More importantly, you should move away from Himino-chan. Huh? The woman called Himino by name. With a coquettish tone. I don't know that word. It gives me the impression of being very forced. Crossing her arms as she looks down at me, the woman narrows her eyes. Would it be easier for you if I used the word infection? You have a wound on your leg, don't you? It's as if their fertility has intensified, meaning that there are probably eggs amongst all that as well. What? She doesn't appear to be dead, but it's only a matter of time. You can no longer save Himino-chan. That's... Please wait a second. It's fine to leave her like that. After I've finished my business, I'll take her with me as a sample. The concerns of Saganuma-san's mouth widen as she says this. The corners. My fear of this woman is even greater than my anger at Himino being referred to as a sample. Even though someone right in front of her eyes might die, she is smiling. How in the world can she make that face? Because I can't understand. Saganuma Rico-san seems terrifying to me. Please wait. If you're a member of the staff, then can't you take me to this building's first aid room or call an ambulance or something, since Himino's alive? It seems you care for Himino-chan a great deal, so try to imagine this. If you die because of her, think of how Himino-chan would feel. Himino is alive. Please don't say something like that. I'm begging you. Please save Himino. I'm not a doctor. It's not possible. Moreover, I don't think the rescue workers would want to respond to such a hopeless call. Saganuma-san says this bluntly in a cruel voice. Her voice is colder than the first time I heard it, like water that has frozen over. She can't be saved anymore. Every time those words come from her mouth, my pulse grows louder and quicker. My blood is rushing through me fast enough for my veins to be worn down from within. That's not good enough. Please, save her. Please save Himino. Before I know it, I'm facing her and pleading. However, my desperate pleas are being shattered by her cruel smile. I don't like disobedient children. I have work to do. Important work. That matters. You have work? This place isn't normal. Isn't that something a staff member should get? After fear makes a lapse through me, I push aside my emotions. Leaping over my fear and anxiety toward this woman, I wholeheartedly just want to save Himino. Not normal? Whatever do you mean? As aquariums also serve as research institutions, the situation itself isn't normal. How is it? I don't understand at all. That's enough. No matter how much time I spend here, it won't help. If you wish to join me, you are free to do so. Free to join you? Saganuma-chan, aren't you staff here? Are you saying you don't know anything about this aquarium, filled with nothing but phenomena? I don't understand a word of what you're saying. Are these good things? I'm telling you I'm going now. If you wish to die along with her, then just sit there staring about like that. Later, I'll study you in full as well, though one sample is more than enough. I shudder as a chill runs up my spine.
I am finally able to understand that this isn't a joke, that she is saying she sincerely doesn't care whether Himino lives or dies. Wait, please. You have wasted enough of my time. I must hurry up and find that child. The last bit of what Tsuguma-san says is inaudible as she runs out from the small room on the stage. Being neither harmful nor harmless, that's the type of person she is. Thinking she could point me down the one path that leads away from Himino and I dying together, with just one phrase I am thrust down to rock bottom. Himino can't be saved. That single phrase bounces around in my head numerous times. No, no, no! Turning it over in my head with such frequency, the truth Saganuma-san had stated is becoming engraved in my heart. I can no longer hear the click-clack sound of her high heels. Instead, what resonates is the sound of drops falling from my eyes. If you're having doubts, then just die. Huh? Who? It is a girl's voice, much younger than Saganuma-san, around the same age as me, in fact. I turn towards the voice coming a short distance away from where I'm holding Himino. A slender girl who is a little taller than me, with eyes a slightly different color than Saganuma-san's cold eyes, looked down at me, scornfully. Her long hair is tied back, dangling behind her like a tail. She's a bit different from Himino, but is still a girl of fashionable attire. I watch her with cautious interest as she glares at me. What's this, all of a sudden? Who knows? I'm just annoyed with you since I hate people who are so wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? You think you can just show up and know how I'm feeling? I don't know. I'm not interested. I feel irritated this girl knows nothing of my circumstances, showing up with all these complaints. To think that Saganuma-san left, and now this. She's directing her futile impulses at me as well. The girl is calm, but speaking fast. Hearing such a tone, I can't go on without saying something back. If you're not interested, then why did you speak to me? More importantly, you have gotten swept up in anything dangerous, have you? Who knows? What's with that answer? You just say what you want to say. How mean. When this girl started speaking to me, it raised hope somewhere inside of me. I briefly hold out hope that she's talking to me because she knows some way I can save Himino. That's why I begin to feel something more than just irritation towards this girl who has come to kick me while I'm down. That girl's gonna get eaten up by bugs and die, right? But parasites aren't all that quick or efficient. What are you... Because it's this Mantum Aquarium, she will die. If it were me, that's what I would think. Then what are you saying? My heart begins to beat faster at her words. Now I regret placing so much hope in this girl. Nevertheless, from her way of speaking, could it be that if you get out of here, there may be a way to cure her? If it comes down to crying and dying, I would fight back rather than giving in. Cure her? Just now you said cure her, really? But that staff member earlier said she could no longer be saved. I don't know. There's no guarantee she can be saved, but the one who said she couldn't be saved was an employee of the aquarium, right? Not a doctor. Not a doctor. She seemed like she knew a lot about parasites, but sure enough, that woman was not a doctor. She said so herself. Also, the girl said something previously that caught my attention. Earlier you said this Mantum Aquarium, right? What is this place? If you know, then tell me. Don't take me for a fool. But I don't know. Since this is an aquarium where nothing but dangerous things happen, I want to know how to get out of here. I can't save Himino. Which path you take is completely up to you. I don't have any more time to worry about other people. I'm just saying as if it were me, I wouldn't quit until I was dead. Upon making her blunt assertion, the girl heads for the innermost part of the shed. Somehow, in contrast to the employee earlier, she has entered from the side of the stage. If you don't have time, then why are you encouraging me? Encouraging me. Upon saying those words, I get an awkward feeling. The cutting assertions she made in a blunt tone, and the words she said to me weren't exactly kind. However, I found them kind in the moment. It isn't that I can't save her, nor is it guaranteed that I can. Having received even a small amount of hope, my tears have stopped. I told you already, I was just getting annoyed. Without looking back, the girl walks away. Sitting on the ground, huddled around close with Himino, I think over the two possibilities in my mind. Since it's unlikely that I can save her, should I just stay here with her a second longer? Or should I believe the girl's words and escape from this danger-filled aquarium? I don't like either one of those choices. Why not try to take her with you? Alright. I'm gonna stop for now. Hopefully. There we go. Found the save function.